Hello everyone. So let's discuss about the explosive elements in the combat AI system. So we have explosive barrels. So as its name intended, basically those are the barrels that can be exploded when some damage happens. So you can strategically place these elements in your level to cause some damage to enemies or some world elements, right? And also there are some destroyable elements like generators and lights, such as like when some damage happen to these generators, lights will be turned off, and when the generator explodes, it will be act somewhat similar to these barrels, which means it will cause some point damage or some radial damage to the nearby enemies. Okay, so let's see those in our project. Right, so this is my project, and these are some of the enemy instances that I had in the previous tutorial, but I think we don't need these enemies right now, so I will get rid of them and make sure these three components in your level. Okay, so if you check the blueprints folder, there is a folder called explosive, and there are multiple different explodable elements, but what we are interested in this explosive barrel, right? And actually these fuse box and searchlights are somewhat child instances of other parent blueprints. For example, this fuse box is a child instance of alarm tower, and this searchlight is a child instance of guard tower. Okay, so those instances can be damageable as well, but we'll see those stuff in later. And we have the generator instance as well. But first, let's discuss about explosive barrel. Right. So when it comes to explosive barrel, you can simply drag and these stuff in your level, something like this. So either you can have multiple different instances everywhere, right? So I will add some barrels like this. So if you play it right now, you can see actually these barrels are in the level. And if I shoot these barrels, they simply explode, right? Like this. Okay. Plus, actually, they have some damage propagation, which means like when there are nearby multiple explodable elements or explosive barrels, then they will destroy it together, right? And you can see after some time their debris has been destroyed, so that level has been cleared up, right? So let's say these barrels exist in distance locations like this, then potentially the damage propagation won't happen because they are in quite a distance. So if I shoot them like this, you can see the damage propagation won't happen. So they destroyed themselves individually. And you can see actually when they exploded, the mesh has been fractured because we have enabled chaos destructions to those elements, right? So in order to have those chaos destructions, make sure you have enabled that chaos destruction plugin. So search for chaos. Yeah, I think this is it. Chaos editor and other chaos stuff, right? So make sure those chaos editings and chaos destruction tools has been enabled by default, so that you can actually configure those stuff, right? So in case if you don't know about how to configure this chaos destruction, basically you have to go to one of its components. For example, let's say you have to actually select a proper mesh. So in this case, let's say I select a barrel, something like this. So currently it is not being fractured, it's just a simple static mesh. But if you select a fracture mode, and if you select a new fracture, and I will save this geometry collection at the content directory just for testing. And you can actually fracture this based on either uniform manner or clustered manner, radial manner, things like that. So in our case, actually, we have been clustered these explosive barrels in the uniform manner. So you can select that one and fracture it. And once you fracture it, you can actually see how that explode happens in runtime. Right? Okay. So that's about the chaos physics geometry collections. So I'll delete this instance. Actually, you don't need to do this stuff if you're using our elements. But let's say if you need to add a custom barrel or any other different static mesh, then you have to fracture those by yourself as the way I showed you. Okay. Plus, as you saw before, if these explosive barrels are close to each other, their damage will be propagated. Right? For example, let's say if I shoot, the nearby explosive barrels will also be exploded. Right. And these barrels can cause damage to the nearby enemies as well. For example, if I place some enemies in the level, let's see how it works. So I will choose the NPC base and place one of the NPCs here, one of the NPCs here, and another one here. And if I shoot one of these, I can see since the enemies are nearby, they will get killed. Right? But let's say if they are in some distance locations like this, and if I shoot at them, the nearby actor will get killed and the distant enemies will get notified of that damage and they will come to that specific location to see what happens. Right? And now this guy has been notified, okay, I'm the one who shoot the barrels, so they will try to neutralize me. Okay. So actually that's how these enemies react to the explosions or any other effects that happens on the level. Right? So for example, like this explosion caused a sound, so these enemies will be basically listen for any sort of noises. So since this explosion caused a very high noise, so they will actually capture that perception and they will come to this location to see what happens. Right. So that's the explosive barrels. And similarly, we have generators. So if you place a generator in the level, something like this, you can see it is also explodable. And in order to signify its operation status, these green lights are there. So in case if you cause a damage to them, they will turn into red. And if you completely destroy them, then they will simply explode. So I can show what happens if I shoot this instance. So you can see now it has been damaged and it will make this smoke and this spark to visualize it has been damaged. And if I keep shoot at it, then it will destroy. And you can see this has been destroyed. Right? And that light is not there anymore. Right. Actually, maybe I can rotate it a bit. And then let's see. You can see actually how it looks. Plus, actually, it has the damage propagation as well, because when this generator is being exploded, the nearby explodable elements will also get destroyed, like you've seen before. Okay? For example, let's say if I place it here, so it's a sort of a distant area or distant location compared to this barrel, so that the damage won't be propagated, right? But let's say if it is closer to this barrel, and if you explode it, then the nearby barrels will also get exploded. And similarly, if you shoot the barrel, the generator will be also damaged, right? It will work on the both ways, right? So if I showed you what I meant, you can see if I shoot the barrel will also cause a harm to generator, so that it will be destroyed. Okay. And the enemies also actually sort of sensing to the generator damages similar to the barrels, because once the generator has been damaged or destroyed, it will cause a noise, so that the NPCs will try to see or try to come to that location and see what happens. Okay. So I can show you what I meant. So let's say if I am just going to damage it, so you can see this guy has been notified of that event, so he has seen it, right? And let's say if I completely destroy it, then again the enemies will come to that location and see what happens. Then I can maybe kill the enemies strategically, right? For example, let's say if I placed some barrels like this, and I can actually sort of lure the enemies to this generator destruction area, and once they reach to see what happens to here, I can shoot these barrels and kill them. So if I show you what I meant, I can actually first destroy this generator, so they will come, and when they are coming, I can shoot the barrels and destroy them, right? So you can actually strategically place these elements in your level to make it more fun and interactive for the player, right? And also, since this is a generator, you can plug a generator light to this specific instance, so that the generator light will be on when the generator is working properly, and if this one is damaged, then the generator lights will start to flicker, and if this one is destroyed, then the generator lights will be fully turned off, right? So actually, if you check out the blueprints folder, there is a folder called generator lights, and if you went there, there is an instance, blueprint actor instance called generator light. So you can place it on the level. Maybe I'll rotate it a bit, and then in that specific light, there is a setup configuration, and there is a field called parent generator. So parent generator is whatever the generator that is responsible for turn on this specific generator, turn on this specific generator light. So in my case, I will simply choose this instance. So you can either choose it from here, or you can actually select it by picking it in the level. So I will use this one. You can see actually then it has been configured. And since this is a generator light, maybe let's make our level to night, right? So it will be much more visible than this, because in the daylight actually this generator light may not quite useful, but at the night this will be useful to navigate for these enemies in your level, right? So in order to make your level night, it's quite easy, because we have this TOD manager, right? So simply select it, and there we can control the time, right? So here you can see currently we are in the daytime, or the 10 a.m. so the light is the sunlight is here. But if you make it night, you can see actually we have a moon here, right, instead of the sun, right? So I think this one would be fine. And now you can see actually the generator lights much more clearly. right? Maybe I will rotate this further to here, and let's play it. Maybe I'll delete one of these two enemies and I'll keep only one of it. I can see actually if I make damage to this generator, now it's turned to red and start smoking, and these lights start to flicker, right? So it is flickering. But let's say if I completely destroy the generator, then the light will be turned off, right? Okay. Right. So likewise, you can actually place multiple generators in your level. So I will simply copy and paste some of the instances to the level, right? And make sure each of these generator lights has their corresponding parent. So in this generator lights, the parent is this one, and for this generator lights, the parent is this one, and finally for this one, we have this parent generator. Right, now if I play it, you can see 3 instances in the level, and they are working properly because the generator is turned on. And if I do some damage, they'll start to flicker, right? You can see actually they are flickering. And if I disable it, then they will simply turn off. Right. Okay. Then you can see like completely the level has been gone dark because all those lights has been destroyed. Right. So I think those are the features that I need to cover in this tutorial. So in the combat AI system, you can actually reuse these existing blueprints, or you can even extend its features further, right, based on your requirements. Okay then, so that's what I wanted to cover, and I'll see you there. Thank you.